Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. Can you tell Visha that she needs to be here? Can you tell Visha that she needs to be here? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't plan to be before you guys too long. I felt that pull to go ahead and get back on here. Um, to have yet another transparency moment. I believe that today has just been it's been a mixture of like transparency moments of me sharing the rawness of what it really actually looks like to walk through a journey of faith, the emotional side of it, and as well as the things that you have to overcome in the as a means of, you know, having faith, if that makes sense. It's been a day of many jewels, gems, of course, by way of the Holy Spirit, and I just felt led. I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store. Um, Getting ready to go to the grocery store, and I was having a moment where my mom and sister finally came to get their items that I gave them, and it was just really, really odd, if that makes sense. And so, after they left, the Lord just kept telling me, like, you are not alone. I wasn't feeling any type of way about anything. Yeah, I wasn't feeling any type of way about anything, and then I started, getting, dressed and getting ready to go and get the groceries because those funds did come. And I just started feeling down and out. I just started to feel like, and I don't know if anybody else has ever felt this way, like, Lord, why does it have to be so hard? Anybody ever felt that way? Like, and it's not you saying like it can't be hard, but a lot of times when you make a comment like that, like saying, God, why does it have to be so hard? It's like it's hard all the time. It's really what we're hinting at. Like, God, we're not getting a break. I don't mind it being hard sometimes, but it's like, goodness, Lord. And so I had the thought, and I'm gonna share this revelation because a lot of times, like the wait, while we're waiting on the miracle, while we're waiting on God to do what He said He would do, like the wait exposes like deeper things that need to be healed within us. It exposes things that we didn't even know that we were actually dealing with. And so I had the thought as I was getting ready, and it was, the initial thought was, why does everything have to be so hard? But it translated into like, God, not only why does it have to be so hard, but God, haven't you like shown people that your hand is on my life? Like, why does it have to feel like I have to get to the bare minimum, like the nitty gritty before, people will even. So why does it feel like sometimes it feels like I'm almost on, even though I know I'm never begging, but sometimes, it feels that way. Like, why does it feel like I have to get to like the place of almost feeling like I have to? Why does it have to get so drastic when people can just choose to like see a need and meet the need? And he led me back to like thinking about like my mom, about how I just don't feel seen by my mom. Hey, Natasha. But that was like my mindset. Not only why does it have to be so hard, but like why does it like seem like I have to like be almost at a point of desperation for people to like sow into my life? If that makes sense. And so, it wasn't like I didn't think at the time that it was like from a place of anger. It was just like a place for me at the time. I felt like it's just me being tired, God. I've been doing this since 2016 full time. It's evident, the fruit shows. And I was just like, Lord, it just makes it so hard. Certain ministries that are not like, I guess mainstream, or not even mainstream, the most popular ministries where they have, the pastor that preaches in Louis Vuitton, Gucci, you name it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just felt like, Lord, it feels like if I'm not at that level, it's extremely hard for me to just, get by, for me to get the things, and, that I need. And I understood when God told me not to compare, because there's no comparison. And the moment you start comparing is really the moment where you really lose sight of who God has called you to be, as well as what he's done in your life, as well as what he will continue to do. But in having that moment, the Lord, flashed before me like my mom. So they got to my house. And I just felt tired, felt drained. Like, I'm packing up my house. You guys expected me, and I packed it to be nice. Expected me to box up your items and pack it up. It was just feeling, so overwhelmed. And my home is, for the most part, it's clean. It's just literally boxes and like my necessities at this point. And so I had gotten to a point where it's like, right before they're leaving, it's like my mom is looking in my house, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? So she looks in my storage room. Y'all, it's literally nothing but boxes in there. Everything else, and I have to sweep, but everything else, it's like clean. She's like, do you want us to help you? And the Holy Spirit had to, like, control my facial expression. And even like my mouth, because what I really wanted to say is, are you serious? Like, are you serious? It's nothing but boxes in there. Empty boxes, not boxes of stuff. It's like empty boxes for me to pack other things. Like, that was really what I wanted to say. Like, you wait until I pack my entire. Remember earlier today, I was telling you guys, my mom has not once asked, do you need help packing? She has not made any effort to help, but you wait until I'm 90% done packaging all of my things, and you want to say, it was a slap in the face, honestly. Do you need us to help? What? It's nothing for you to help with. Literally, it's nothing for you to do at this point. Like, me and God got it handled. Like, it's done. Hey, Pastor Run. And so, that's why I said it was so very, like, awkward. And, my dog, Bella and Sweetie grew up around my mom, but Capone he reminds me more of myself. He has a great sense of discernment. It's like, depending on what he scopes out about you, Capone is, either going to be in love with you, or you're going to get a growl. You're going to get a warning growl, meaning don't come any closer. And whatever it is about my sister and my mother, Capone is not a fan. And he likes kids. He likes, he will let people pet him. But, and so it really didn't click why God was just saying, like, you're not alone. Like, you're not alone. Like, you're not handling this by yourself, because it has been moments where I felt that way, and not just from the packing aspect of things, but from my dog to everything else. I have been holding a lot of weight and carrying a lot of weight. And I don't mean it in I'm carrying the burden of things. It's just been a lot that I've had to, like, be strong and endure, for a while, past few months, where I literally have not had a break. And so as I'm having this moment with God, and, I'm just like, Lord, why does it always have to get to the point where I almost have to seem like I'm begging or in a desperate need just for people to sow into my life? Like, I was really, like, curious. I was asking God. And so he flashed before my eyes, my mother. And I didn't get it at first. Like, okay, God, this is what I'm telling you about how I'm feeling. You've been telling me I'm not alone all day. Like, literally all day, in moments where, like, I'm talking to him. That's like what he's been repeating over and over and over again. And I understand it, because I've been low key on the verge of, like, being overwhelmed. You guys can probably hear it a little bit, in my voice. It's been a lot for one person. And so I'm asking God, how does that relate to the question that I'm asking you? And he told me, he said, as a kid, you were overlooked. As a kid, you not only were you overlooked by your mom, but things had to get, but even when things got desperate for you, like real for you, like People don't understand, like, my mother was never around. If I got into a situation when I was homeless, my mother was at my sister's house. She wasn't checking up on me. She wasn't saying, hey, go put some gas in your car. Like, it was none of that. In fact, she didn't ever come back until, like, I got into school and I fixed her house up. Then she wanted to move in, and she was just, it was what it was. And for me at the time, I was just happy that I had a place, but there was a repeated pattern of that throughout my childhood, throughout my young adulthood. And the Lord told me, he said, the root of what you feel is anger. You ever like had a moment where, you're talking to God about something and you don't think the root of what you're feeling or experiencing? Because I'm going to say this again, like, while you're waiting on God to do what he says he's going to do, so many emotions come up. I don't care what nobody says. You can be a general in the faith for all I care, but everyone is human. Everyone is in a constant cycle or a constant phase of growing. The Bible says we go from faith to faith and from glory to glory. That means that there'll always be something, that I'm like working on. And so it's like, the way it exposes things that you thought you were over. It exposes things that you don't even know are still affecting you, affecting how you feel about certain things. It explains why certain things trigger you the way, that it does. And so as I'm sitting there talking to God, the Lord says, this wait, while you're waiting, I know you got like 24 hours to get, what you need for your home. And it's like a desperate situation. I'm like, God, you have to do it. Like, my 2 months notice is in, the offer has been accepted. Like, the house is off the market, and so it's like, I have a right now need. Right. And so, I was, a bit flustered. I was a bit like sad earlier. And I'm like, why does it, take me getting to a place? I've been doing this so long. Why does it take me getting to a place where people got to see me desperate before they give? Like, I have been feeling that way. Like, even when it went down to like groceries, you know, it took so much energy, so much effort just to get like food. That's a bare necessity. Am I making sense? And so, like, sometimes things like that during the wait, it weighs on me because it's like, God, I need, I need like $1,700 by tomorrow. I have like 30% of what I need. But God, do you see how much energy it took? It took me getting to a point of being desperate. Like, having to tell people, like, listen, all I have is water and condiments in my refrigerator. For someone to just simply say, hey, I'll cash app you. And it's like, should it really take all that when the fruit shows? And I said what I said, and people can feel however they want to feel. But it's the raw truth. It's the raw truth. And so I was a little bit hurt by that. And the Lord told me, he said, at the root of this is anger with me. You're angry. You ain't angry at people, but you're angry at me because it relates to like your childhood and what your mother did, what she did not do. And so what you're doing is this journey. I didn't even know that it was healing me just from that. And so it's like in that moment, it began to make sense why God kept telling me today, like, you're not alone. As a kid, I felt alone. That's how I felt. As a kid, I felt alone. I had to fend for myself when I was a kid. I had to learn to be strong from a very young age. Wise beyond my years, life grew me. It taught me. Even as a kid, I would pray for wisdom. I don't know why, but, we didn't go to church. But I would always find myself as a kid asking God for wisdom. Always, as a kid. I'm not talking about a teenager, but like 9, 10 years old. I'm sitting up here as a kid asking God for wisdom. And so that's kind of been like the past few hours, just me letting certain things marinate, working through things, which at the root of it all, we will always be working through something. We'll always be working through something. But that was what God told me. He said, this weight is exposing deeper things that, some things you thought you had healed from, and certain things, certain things you didn't even realize that you were dealing with, like that's like where I've been at. I don't think people like recognize like how hard it is to be in ministry full time. I'm not talking, I'm just being real. Like, I don't believe that people really realize like how hard it is to be in ministry full time and to do it the right way, to not swindle anyone, to uphold integrity, morals and character, but also, to operate in a ministry that sees God, move day in and day out. It ain't just me seeing God move in my life, but there are some of you guys that are here that like you've been able to like see God, move in your life as well. It just should not be this hard, especially when a ministry is really feeding you, especially when it shouldn't be hard. Because guess what? If people came to me saying, and it has happened before, I need food, why would I wait until you get to a point where your faith is about to be broken if I know that, like, I have what you need, I can bless you? Even outside of, like, the scope of ministry, I never really understood, like, and the question that I was asking God is, God, do people really want to see you struggle? Like, I know, like, there are certain moments and certain things have to occur, and then you'll move on people's hearts. But and some people just don't want to be used. They want the blessings, but they don't want to sacrifice at the expense of what they may feel they need to do for themselves or their own life, but it shouldn't be hard to get simple things like food. It shouldn't be hard to get bare necessities. It should not be hard at all, especially, and I'm not just talking about this ministry that God has me stewarding, but for any real leader and any real ministry where God's hand is on it, like the fruit shows. I'm not talking about people that have not been proven, but like churches and ministries that have absolutely been proven. It shouldn't be hard. It should not be hard for that leader to get bare necessities. It shouldn't be. It should not go to a certain level. And I think a lot of times what happens is people only care about what they can get from a leader. They don't even realize that, hey, just like my faith gets to a point sometimes where, I feel like I'm about to break, just because my leader is a leader doesn't take them out of having to deal with that as well or deal with that battle as well. There are many pastors that deal with battles that the congregation will never, ever know about. There are many leaders that, they do go through at a rate that is 10 times worse than what the congregation goes through. But a lot of times, and I'm not saying this to take jabs at anyone, but a lot of times people only want what they want. They're only concerned about their life. They're only concerned about their needs, their bills, that they rob themselves of the ability to let God use them the same way that God uses that leader to bless them. And so this was the past few hours. These were the questions that, I was asking God, and it really wasn't, I guess it connected to the house, because it's like, God, I'm struggling here just to get bare necessities like groceries, food, I'm dealing with a lot, doing a lot by myself, doing it all by myself with God, of course, but physically it's just me. And so it's like my mom looking in my storage room of empty boxes. Do you need help packing? What? Are you serious? Do I need help packing? Are you serious? I was so taken aback. And I'm like, this is only God that I didn't say what I wanted to say. This is only God that, like, my facial expression did not change. It's like I couldn't look no type of way. Do you need help packing? Ain't nothing in here but boxes, lady. I've done all the hard work. What you want to do, sweep? Like, and I'm not being dishonorable, but like, this is like my mother. Oh, you want me to do the hard work? You didn't want to fix your own house, but you wait until I do all the work and then you come and you act like you've done so much. What have you done? What have you done? You disappear when it's rough, but then you show up when the glory hits. And it's a lot of people like that in the world. I feel like I need to say that there are so many people like that in the world. And this is kind of what led me to like ask God that question. Like, why does it seem like I have to get to a point where my faith is literally about to break before people will move? They'll see the need, but they won't sow until it's like, oh, her faith is about to break. There's so many people like that in the world. And I think that honestly, like, the weight exposes that too. The way it exposes the weak links. It exposes your weak links internally, but it exposes the people around you. Because some people don't want to make it out the mud. They don't want to go through the mud with you, but they want to show up when the blessing comes, when the miracle comes, or whatever the case may be. And that's just real. It's raw, but it's really the truth. And it's like, we have the audacity to try and hold on to people that they don't really want to be a part of every bit of our lives. They don't care. All they care about is what they can get from you. And sadly, there are leaders like that in the church. And you'll get food if you're not using discernment. There are leaders like that in the church. There absolutely are. Oh, Lord, don't let me get rained on at this store. There absolutely are, which is why we have to use discernment in the first place. There are leaders that bamboozle. There are leaders that are all about money. They don't care about the congregation. They don't care about your needs. And some of them don't do, anything righteous with the money that they do bamboozle people out of. They spend it on frivolous things. But at some point, we have to start doing better to support the ministries that are really authentic. We really do. So, yeah, this weight has exposed trauma. It's exposed why I was so triggered. It helped me understand why God has just been telling me, like, you're not alone. You ain't alone. I know it feels that way, but you're not alone. Because it's been feeling like I'm carrying the weight of everything, even things that I haven't talked about. Oh, Jesus, it's about to rain. Even things that, I haven't talked about. And so, you have those moments where it's like, can I just get one thing to be smooth, God? If you can just, get this house thing to be smooth, like I can handle the rest, but it's too much all at the same time. And so, that's been my day so far. I told you guys that God wanted me to share the real raw emotion behind like having faith. This is why I told y'all earlier, faith ain't always pretty. It's rarely pretty. If somebody tells you that faith is a breathe, they lying. They are straight. The truth ain't in them. If somebody tells you like, oh, faith is a beautiful thing. It is the most beautiful thing ever. But if they tell you it's a feel-good process, they are not being honest. And they themselves have not actually lived a life of faith. And I said what I said. I don't care if they are a leader or whoever they may be. If they are painting a picture that it is all, peaches and ice cream, it ain't. The results are, but the journey is such a harsh journey. And it takes you literally until to the end of yourself and then some. Why do you think the Bible tells us, like, if we don't grow weary in well doing, that we will reap what we've been sown? Because God even knows this journey of faith is such a rough journey, that it is such a sacrificial journey, right? Where it's like the road less traveled. Many people proclaim to have faith, but they don't really know what faith is. And that's just real. Am I making sense? It's the truth. Many people will say, you know, that's just how I feel. The benefits are good. They're amazing. But the things you have to go through, even God knew it was hard. It's hard. Even He knows. Many people give up along the way. They may start it out and then they get to a point and they have to make a choice, like we all do. Am I going to keep on trusting you, or am I going to revert back to my old ways? Am I finna just say, forget this? I am not doing this. Yep. So that's what my journey has exposed thus far. So, it's like, okay, once God exposes, anger, what do? You work to actively forgive. You work to actively forgive. And so for me, I don't have any expectations of my mom. I don't expect you to help me move. I don't expect you to help me. I don't expect it. I really don't need it. I don't expect it. I forgive you, but I don't expect you to do for me as I would want you to do for me. Because it's different if I didn't want a relationship with my mom. That's what makes it even hard. It's like, God, I actually want a relationship with her, but I can't have one with her, not like I want. And it's not because of me, it's because of her. It's because of her. Yep. Has this helped anyone? I pray that it does not come off, as me just being angry, because I'm not angry. I pray that you guys can see and hear that, I'm not angry. I'm really not angry. I'm not. It's just, this is what this day has shown me about me, you know? The journey of faith hurts sometimes. It humbles you. And that's it. So that's it. I'm going to go to the dumpster to take another bag of trash out. And I am going to go and get some groceries. At the moment, we are 17:03 away from what I need on tomorrow. That is where we are, 17:03. So whatever you guys sow is going towards that. My goal, honestly, I want to, get below that 17:03 mark. I want to get out of the 17s. I really and truly do. But for those of you guys that know you're in a position to sow, if God has, if this ministry has helped you grow, I just ask that you sow whatever God leads you to sow. Again, the goal is 17:03. Can somebody type that in? 17:03. 17:03. To God be the glory, Visha. To God be the glory. 17:03 is where we are. Thank you, Stephanie. So, the only thing that I ask is that if you are sowing, and it doesn't matter if you feel that your seed, no seed is too small. No seed is too small at all. But if you know that you're in a position to help, that you have the means to help, whether you say, well, God, I can get her out of that 1700 mark. I just ask that you obey God. I just simply ask that you obey God. But, That is it. God may lead you to sow 100. He may lead you to sow 50. He may lead you to sow 1,000. He may lead you to sow 200. He may lead you to sow 3. He may lead you to sow 5. You just have to let God lead you. And so that is it. I love you guys. I am rooting for you guys. I am so very grateful and so very thankful for those of you guys that have sown. This journey has shown me so much about the hearts of people. It's shown me so much about the hearts of people, that even though people hurt us, there are still good people. There are still good Christians that actually live. They eat, breathe, and live. They're walking the walk. And so, this journey has taught me that I don't have any doubts about God doing this for me. Like, I know it has to be done, because there's literally no going back at this point. There is literally no going back at this point. And so again, if you know that you're in a position to sow, I ask that you not linger, but that's it. I love you guys. I am rooting for you guys. And so till next time.